Welcome to this edition of a webinar. Now, what I wanted to do with this webinar is talk about the focus. When you're sitting with somebody and you want to do a clearing on them, where do you start? You start with a focus. You want to talk about what needs to be worked on, talk about the symptoms the person is going through, and get a history of the whole thing. And what you want to try and learn to do is create the questions to bring out the answers. Okay, because the more you know about the person and their past and the history of what's going on, the better. I'll give you a quick example, and I use this example all the time. I was working on somebody in Australia. This person says, "Chris, can you help me with my back? It's extremely sore and I can't get out of bed." I said, "Sure, no problem." So we do 2 sessions on her back, and the 3rd session, she says, "Chris, when are you going to find the cancer?" I said, "You never told me you had cancer." She says, "Well, yeah, I have cancer." I says, "Well, it's not showing up in your back." "Well, it's not in my back, it's in my brain." I says, you know, you need to have a person tell you these things. So that's one good example. So ultimately, when somebody says, "Yeah, my hips are really bad. Okay, whenever I walk, my hips hurt." "Well, is there anything else in your body that hurts when you walk?" "Yeah, as a matter of fact, my neck gives me trouble." So that can open another door as to where you need to focus on. You can ask how long this has been going on. Ask if there's any things that happened in their life that would have caused this to happen. "Oh yeah, I tripped on some kind of something, and you know, for no reason at all, I tripped and I can't figure out why, and felt like somebody pushed me." "Oh, so you got punked. Some spirit probably pushed you or whatever." So that gives you more insight as to what it is. So ultimately, the focus is key. If you don't know where to go, where to look, you could be going off into many different areas. Now, having said that, sometimes we do get better results when the person doesn't tell you anything. You just start clearing, and then you come up with things, and you tell the person, "Oh, you have this or that." Yes, I remember that blah, blah, blah happened so back when," and so forth. So a focus is very important, but sometimes not so necessary. So maybe try both things with the person, is to create a focus and to go in blind. Just go in and see what you can find. Kai, anything you want to add to the focus?
I would just say that if you can find the exact year, like I have headaches, you know, just when did that start? Do you start noticing that? And they'll go, "Oh, well, I had a car accident 3 years ago," and then now you can find out why they got in a car accident. So when's a good time? When is a good question to
the date? Yeah. So there's a good example. So if somebody says there's in a car accident, well, the first thing you want to look for is whiplash. So start using your intuition along with it. What would be created from a car accident? Ultimately, whiplash would be a big one. Okay, so that's, you know, it's pretty plain and simple. The focus is something that you really want to try and create. Carol, hi dear. Cheers. Okay, now a bunch of people sent me a whole bunch of questions, a whole bunch of things to possibly talk about. Oh, first I want to show everybody something. Now, a client of mine came in from Alberta, and he actually came into the office. I don't want to allow that, but this guy is kind of a cool guy. He brings me gifts and buys me lunch and stuff. So he came into the office, and he says, "Chris, there's this guy I heard about on Miles Johnson, and he has this problem. Can we work on him?" I says, "Sure, why not? You're paying for it." So we pull up his name on Skype, and we call him, and he actually answers the Skype call. And he's telling me that he's puking up blood, his feet are turning black. And I'm like, okay, this is a problem. So I start working with him. And what I do is I take the Vesica Pisces and hold it up to do a clearing, and he freaks out. He starts screaming in pain and agony. So I pull it away and go, "What the heck was that?" I mean, there's obviously some kind of entity within him that doesn't like it. So just as Skype always does, it freezes. Okay, and in the background, now I need to see if I can pull this up. Put it onto Zoom. Let me see if I can do that. Let me see if I know how. Does anybody know how to do that? Share screen. There we go. Okay. Can anybody see that?
Yep, got it.
Okay. What's in the background?
China.
This thing right here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
That, my friends, is a reptilian. Now, right here, you can see that he's covering his eyes. He's in a lot of pain, and in the background there is Mr. Reptilian. Looks like he's holding something.
Wow.
A crystal, something, holding something.
Wow.
Now, when the screen came back on, there was nothing in the background that would say it's a reflection or a shadow or anything. It's perfectly clear. You can see the eyes, you can see a bit of a mouth, you can see the outline of the shoulders and the head, and this thing is holding something. Isn't that intense?
Wow.
I've been sent pictures of actual reptilian scaly skin right next to a person, and Ty and I have seen things going on. So, I mean, that is as real as it gets. That is as real as it gets. So the next day, I call him up just to make sure he's okay. And he says, yeah, I'm all right. Still feeling really something. And he says, what was that thing that you held in front of the camera? So instead of showing him, I started explaining what it was, that it's like reptilian kryptonite, that these things hate this device. And he got a clearing right there. Everything went all tingly, and he got uplifted, and he felt amazing all day long, all the next day long. He felt this clearing happen. It was intense. It was really, you know, I see really interesting things all day, but this was a real cake taker to see that happen. I mean, to see somebody get in pain like that never happens. I've had people do the funky chicken and their eyes roll back in their head a couple times. But this is something I've never seen before. And sure enough, it was that reptilian saying, you know what, I need to stop this because I don't want to leave. Okay, so having said that, beautiful. Okay, now, Shoki has some stuff that she wants to bring up. How can students be able to connect to true source on a consistent basis even when they live in a dark city, for example, LA, the devil's playground, with a lot of AI interference? The best thing that you can do is just on a daily basis intend my source self, source true. Higher self, source true. All of these higher areas of your being, if you keep intending that they're connected to source, is probably one of the best things you can do. Now, another thing that I find a lot of in the aura charts, it is something called the VAX, V-A-X. Where is it? It's here somewhere. It's called the VAX. The VAX, I got this from a book I read called The Vivaxis Connection by Dr. Judy Jacka. It's a big, thick book. It's a good book. And the VAX is a connection at the 6th layer of the root chakra that grounds somewhere. So if that VAX is grounded and connected to the satanic continuum, you don't want it there. Then you're pulling energy from that area. So you just want to keep intending that VAX is source true. And if you need to clear it out on an ongoing basis, that's not a bad thing. So you have the source self and source grids, the VAX, keep intending those are source true. That's going to do a real good job for you. Okay? And then you can just keep on dowsing and asking and see what you need to do to keep disconnected from where you are. Now, you may also want to clear out the area you live in, clear out the community, or even just the property you're living on. That may be a big thing also. Now, okay, so I'm going to go off on a big ramble here, okay? I'm not going to make any sense until the end. So with areas like LA, high population areas like that, and even anywhere for that matter, a lot of people talk about the 5G network. Okay, the 5G network causes cancer. The 5G network does this and that. Don't worry about the 5G. Worry about the 7G. Okay, even the 7.5G. Ty and I talked about this last week a little bit, and
Yep.
I've been getting tons of hits on it. Ty, how about you?
Oh, it's the 6G and the 7G have been bigger, and people are expecting more of a 5G rollout but actually in actual documents, I think there's a 7.5G rollout already.
Yes, and you know, if we find it here, that there has to be some validity to it.
Yeah.
So basically what I do is I cover two bases. I just disconnect the person from the 7G, and the cell phone and Wi-Fi network is called a millimeter band. So I disconnect the person from the millimeter band wavelength frequencies. So you're covering two bases, the 7G and all millimeter band wavelength frequencies. That seems to really help. And in some people, you actually need to set up a firmament to protect them from these wavelengths. Because what happens with these wavelengths, these frequencies, is that a code can be sent to trigger an illness. A code can be sent to trigger flu season, whatever. Something can be triggered within it. So you may even want to set up a firmament just to protect that person from those frequencies. That has been huge. Now, with the 7G, you also want to look for 7G viruses. Okay, because viruses lay dormant. Something needs to trigger them in order for them to start to react in your body. So the 7G virus, after finding the 7G network, is very important. Shingles virus, coronaviruses, there's a lot of, especially yeast and fungus viruses can be triggered by this frequency. Funguses and like hypomyceti fungus is a big one that can be triggered. And that is all in the books. That is all in the stressors. So that in itself. So if you're in an area with lots of cell phone activity, Wi-Fi activity, these are things that you want to look for and knock them out, and that could open the door a little further for you. Now, what else did Shoki have to say? She has to say a lot, this girl. Okay, how can students protect, strengthen, enhance their connection to true source and to their true higher self, greater self? Again, same thing. Just keep on making the intent. Ladies and gentlemen, everything that we're doing here is intent. Whatever you want to intend is going to happen. So if you want to make up your own words, your own type of mantra, your own type of energy for something to happen, please do it. We are creators. We are creators of what we're doing. I didn't find all this stuff on the internet and in a course. All this stuff was brought to me through thought, and I created it all. So anything that you want to do with the tools, with your intent, as long as it's going to give you the right outcome, create it. Make your own words. Make your own intent. Make your own thought system to bring this in to make the changes. Okay, we are all powerful. Use it to your advantage, okay? Is there anything that you feel inspired to do that could improve true quantum healing success? Okay, so to improve success, ask questions. Ask questions. Be relentless. Don't just settle for, well, it didn't work, well, we're just going to put it away. No, 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 no. Ask questions. Be relentless. Make demands upon yourself to find these answers. Sometimes you have to get really inventive. So I've got about 7 clients who are a real tough nut. Okay, things happen very little, and I've one lady I've done 160 sessions on, for crying out loud. She books a lot of appointments. I tell her you don't have to, but she does. Almost nothing, almost no clearings done. So what I did is I took all these people, put them in a list, and I asked what is the common denominator with all these people. This is going to another clearing, okay? I asked what is the common denominator within these people, and it came up a strong reptilian entity within them. And so then I asked, how do we get rid of this son of a bitch? Okay, sorry, that's the way I feel right now. And I got the clearing for it. We'll go over that in a second. So if you want to improve yourself, you want to be higher in true quantum healing, ask questions. Be relentless. If they throw the ball back at you, throw it back harder. Okay? Don't be a nice guy if you don't have to be. Get down, get dirty, get to these answers, because the universe wants to see what you got. Show them what you got. Okay, let's see. What is the best measure of protection against energy weapon attacks? Okay, so here is, again, is the intent to create a firmament to block and deflect any kind of attacks, any kind of weaponry. So the word firmament, it's in the Bible in Genesis. God created a firmament between the waters above and the waters below. The word firmament is like a dome of protection. So if you make the intent for that firmament to protect you from whatever, that's what's going to work, okay? That is what I tell everyone. One of the biggest questions I get is, how do I protect myself? After I've done a clearing on somebody, how do I protect myself? Number one is doing the clearings. Once you've done the clearings, that entity and that energy that we found is now in your consciousness, and your consciousness can now realize what to watch for, and it could block it. But if you do make that firmament, go that extra little bit, create a firmament to block and deflect. Block and deflect work very well. Block and deflect these energies. Sound weaponry, AI weaponry, any kind of planetary frequencies, anything at all you can think of or comes up dowsing, create that firmament. Shelky also says, how do we protect our right to heal against reptilian interference and other interference? Right to heal, true. Right to heal, true. Ty, can you elaborate on that one?
The right to heal, true.
Now, you sent me a message on Skype about taking away the rights of the entity.
Oh yes, that's my new thing this week. It's only for beings or frequencies or technologies that are against universal rights or source rights. They're in violation, so you can't do that to anything that's good. But if you revoke their rights, especially, gosh, that's it's not an easy one to explain. If you revoke their rights as a being, because they think they have rights to do what they want when they really don't. So if you're the person telling the being they no longer have rights to do that, then they're easier to move out to ether and remove their spells and stuff. It's as if no one's told them they don't have the right to do that, and you have to be the person to say, hey, you don't have a right to do that anymore.
Now to keep it simple, like I love to keep it simple.
Sure.
You can always say judgment true. Judgment against the entity true.
Okay.
That might do a little something.
What about declaring sovereignty?
Declaring sovereignty is a good one. I declare sovereignty against any and all extraterrestrials and out of bounds entities. Sovereignty the word is very, very important. Sovereignty is a big one. Firmament's a good word. So sovereignty would work. That would certainly help. So anything. Again, it's all about doing the clearings, and you identify that entity, and you tell it to go, and your consciousness knows what to watch for, and it'll keep it away. Has everybody run across mantids yet?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've met one.
They're very violent.
Okay. On the weekend, I did a trade show with my wife, and this guy comes up to me and goes, "You're Chris Kaler." I says, "Are you going to serve me?" And he says, "No." I says, "Yes, I'm Chris Kaler." So he says, "Oh," and in Winnipeg, I didn't know this, but once a month there's this group that gets together and talks about abductions and ET stuff. And he started asking me about mantids. He says, have you ever come across mantids? I says, you know what? I know they exist, but they haven't come my way yet. Okay, we're not at that point in Ascension where we can identify them and get rid of them. We're waiting for that door to get to that point where we can go through. So today, they did come up once, briefly. So mantids, I mean, everything has always been about the reptilians and here and there the gray aliens. But the mantids, I think, are starting to come up. So I think everybody should watch for the mantids and their nastiness. Okay, anything of a bug nature, get your bug swatter out. Get your bug.
They're about experimentation. So if anyone's having lab type stuff or that,
violence.
That's a good one to look for.
Within the person I was working on, it came up about abductions and lots of experimentation done. So yeah, watch. Mantids are starting to come forward now. I mean, there's you go on the internet and you can see a list of hundreds of different species, different ET, whatever. Take what you want from that, but the ones that are important are the ones that are coming forward to us to know that these things are causing problems within humanity, and we need to watch for them within the person to clear them out and send them over. Okay, so this question is from Nandini in India. Two wonderful students in India. These people are fantastic. I love them to death. I love them to wealth. Be careful with your words. Oh my goodness. Okay, she says, I'm having a problem with knowing how many sessions one should do to help with the problem. Because I do it correctly the first time, but I don't know what to do next after the first session is over. She's really confused about it. So basically, here's what I do. I used to keep notes. I do a clearing and I don't do that anymore. Number one, it cuts into the actual time you can work with the person. Number two, what I always find is that whenever the next session comes up, we always start over. You've done the clearings. They don't exist anymore. If it's important, they will come up again. Okay, many times people have said, oh, we did that last time. I said, well, we're doing it again. Don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt to do it again. So I always just start over. Start from the beginning. Start with the same focus. Okay, this person still has pain. Let's find the reason. You cleared all this stuff before. Let's start again and see what happens. Ty, what do you normally do with people?
In what regard? I didn't.
The next session.
I tried to do a couple of basic, clearings, their law of non-consent or law of consent, and do a couple things. I do take a little bit of notes, but mostly I just, kind of almost start over, just see where they were at. I usually remember kind of what the last session was about, so I, just ask how that's going, and I dig deeper. But pretty much what you do.
Okay, yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. I mean, what we're doing here, there's no right way to do it. There's a good way to do it and a better way to do it. But ultimately, whatever's going to work for you. Nicola, what do you do?
Pretty much the same. After the first session, I'll ask for an update, any changes, if there's anything else that came up, and then I'll just follow the pendulum. Any new clearings you send out, I'll keep an eye out for those as well.
So that's a good point about creating the focus for the next session, is ask for feedback from the client, how they felt the day after, how they felt 2 days after, how they feel now, and what's changed. So that will actually set the focus for the next session for you. That's a good one, Nicola. Thank you for that. Now, Christine, where's lovely Christine?
Right here.
Okay, you sent me a whole bunch of stuff. Why don't you be a nice person and speak to us?
Sure. So I heard you mention on the videos about Merkabah, Merkava, and Merkana. And I know about the Merkabah. I used to do the whole Drunvalo. Yeah, that meditation that he had, and then I started blowing stuff out, and I freaked myself out. But I I guess my question is, I couldn't find Merkabah and Merkana on the list, and
Right.
and similar to that, the 14 chakras. I was wondering if I could. I mean, I could draw it up if you want to tell me where they are. But if we had a visual for the 14 chakras, I think that would help me visualize stuff.
Okay. Now, Merkabah is in the aura charts on the first page, and the Merkabah, Merkana aren't in there yet. They're going to be in the updated charts I'm going to be doing hopefully before the end of summer for sure. Things are changing so much, I just don't want to throw things out right away. So that's something you want to add to your charts within the aura section. You can always just say Merkabah grids. Okay,
so are they slightly different geometries? Is that the difference?
Okay, here's what I do is generally the Kundalini is a reptilian connection. Okay, so you want to just dissolve that, and then you want to activate the Merkabah grids.
Okay.
Okay, the Merkabah grids are a source ascension. The Kundalini is a reptilian connection. Hey, where are you going? I'm going to the reptilians. Okay, you don't want to go there. You want to activate the Merkabah grids. Merkabah is the first level. Merkana is the second level. Merkabah is the third level. Okay, that's where you want to be. Okay, that's
okay.
the way to source. If you're ascending, you want to have a Merkabah connection. Now the Merkabah is let's say a 6-pointed star. Merkana is a 12, and Merkabah is a 32-pointed star, if you want to visualize the geometry.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Now, what else, Christine?
So during one of my clearings I was doing on myself, the term holographic body came up. And is that like a good thing? Like you want a holographic body or you don't want a holographic body?
Well, for me, in the charts, it's an option. Okay. So what you can ask is, do I need this holographic body? It may be like the chakra system was always used as something against you by the reptilians. You could ask, is that holographic body necessary?
Okay.
So you can go there and see if that is a problem or not for you. Ty, do you ever find the holographic body?
Always. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what I did last night, because I didn't know what to do, I said holographic body connected to source.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay. Perfectly fine. That resonates. Now, a lot of things in the charts may be redundant. One thing may be the exact same as another thing. What I did with the charts is I just created whatever possibility there could be that I've ever come across and put it in there. And if it comes up, work with it. Do something with it. Because again, we are creators. If it's something that we need to pay attention to, if your consciousness is calling it a holographic body and my consciousness is calling it the whatever body, doesn't matter. As long as you work on A or Z and you get a resolve, that's all that really matters, okay?
Okay. So same thing, I guess, then with parallel incarnation?
The parallel incarnation, now we live in a parallel universe. Parallel 6, my understanding, has been dissolved. It imploded. It's gone. So there could be a parallel of us from another dimension attached to us in this dimension that is causing some havoc. So you just might want to say parallel incarnation true. Send it to wherever it needs to go back to. Just ask for the command. Go to the command charts and ask for the command for it. Are you using the letter charts yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. Extremely important. If you could learn to use those letter charts, that is going to tell you what you need to do with that entity, with that part of you, okay? It's incredibly important.
Yeah.
It does take a while to learn them. We did do a webinar on it, and it's posted. Oh, it's posted. If you look in how to use the charts, at the end of that video is how to use the letter charts.
Yeah, and I think part of that is just I have noticed that I'm getting better with the pendulum, so I think it's just a matter of practice and
keep going, girl.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the fifth question on here, I think it's the same thing, to keep asking the questions, because I got things like adhesions, obstructions, and swelling. So I guess the next step would be to ask where they are, right?
You want to ask the area, or you can do it both ways. You can ask the area first, okay, what area do I need to work on? And then what is the stressor? And if it says adhesions, that area, adhesions, false. Blockages, false. Just say whatever the word is that comes up, just say false. Cancel out that energy, then ask again. And you might get the blockage of whatever it really is.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're removing the word blockage, which is energy, and then you're going to remove, let's say, blood clot. That's the blockage. So,
okay.
So you want to, just follow the charts. The charts are going to lead you. The charts are the key to the universe. Hail the charts. I just follow. You know what? I don't even question them. I just follow them. Whatever it says, that's what I do, and you get results. At the end of the day, that's what you want is a result.
Yeah. And then I think somebody asked this before on a video, but so the send to ether. My question with that is, doesn't it just park them somewhere, and don't we want to send them like maybe back to source or to the galactic sun or something where they can be actually transformed?
Where do you feel it's best to send them?
So before I found your work, I found Cameron Day's work and Eric Rains, and I've been sending stuff either to the galactic sun or back to source.
Good for you.
Okay.
Perfect. All
right.
As long as you don't leave it lying there next to the person, you just send it somewhere.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. I was told by Wayne the Toolmaker, my mentor, send it to ether. I'm like, okay, well, what's ether? Look it up. The air the gods breathe. Give it back to the gods. Let them deal with it, those son of a guns. Okay.
Yeah.
That's basically what I do. It seems to work fine. Ultimately, you would know if it's not working if the thing kept on coming back.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So ultimately, again, here you're the creator. Wherever you want to send it, wherever you think it's the best place to send it to the brat across the street who keeps on breaking your windows. I mean, wherever you want to send it.
Don't do that. No.
That's bad karma, Chris. I can't do that.
Chris is playing Bertie now.
Send it wherever you see fit. Okay, whatever resonates. And there are a lot of people out there that know a lot of stuff. And you're going to notice that with Eric Rains, with whoever, they're going to have differences of opinion, different concepts on things. They're not wrong. They're just not us. They're just not us. Okay, which is okay, because if you work on A or I work on Z and we get an answer, doesn't matter as long as the problem is gone. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Good. Those are good questions, Christine. You are on the ball. You're going to do extremely well with this. Okay.
Thanks. Okay, two more quick ones. One is just really a comment that I absolutely love the concept of firmaments, and I've been using them everywhere. So like I create little projects and I protect it with a firmament, and I don't know, I just found it really empowering.
It is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. Firmaments, though, again, the word is very strong. Firmament of protection from source around this project, whatever. Boom, now you're golden.
Yeah. And then my last question is just if you could go into, I mean, you probably were going to already, but the grounding humanity to source. I think people are just wondering what that was about because it sounded pretty cool.
What it was, okay, so I worked with a client who's very spiritual, very energetic. And this person had a lot of very negative grounding features to him where the satanic energies, he was grounded to them for humanity. So we just flipped his polarity, and now he's grounding humanity to source.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so that scenario, that philosophy is now there that it can happen. So now when we do the work, it's going to connect. Not that, oh, boom, the big blood, oh, boom, the source. It's basically that polarity is now clear. When we do the clearing, on our work.
Well, polarity came up for me last night when I was clearing myself. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Polarity, true.
Yeah.
Where everything is polarity. Okay, you look at everything around us in society, in the world, right here on your desk, everything is polarity. You change the polarity on something. On my stereo system, if I take the red and black wires and change them, something doesn't work. So the polarity is out. You put the polarity in the way it's supposed to be, and everything starts to flow. It creates a flux of energy when your polarities are correct. The electromagnetic field within and around our body is very important for the polarity to be true. Okay, everything is going to flow through that electromagnetic field, which is basically the aura. You want to make sure that polarity is correct. Ty, what do you usually find about polarity?
I've been working with, the law of attraction polarity, making sure that the flow goes correctly and inversely. Polarities on the command has been big this week. I've been falsing inverse commands and truing commands so that my healing's a little more solid. A good one. That's it.
So again, if you want to correct polarity within somebody, ask what area in this person has an inverted polarity, what polarity is incorrect, and the master charts will show you and just correct the polarity. That's basically what we're doing here. Now, you said something, Ty. You said law of attraction. Bernie, tell everybody what we did today.
I'm on cloud 6.
Okay, let me do it. Okay, so what I found, this came up yesterday in clearings, and this is the first client I worked on in the morning, and it blew me. I was like, whoa! Now I know we're going somewhere. Now I know that we are in ascension mode. To me, ascension, there's a bunch of different things about it, but one of the big things is about manifestation. Okay, law of attraction stuff, manifestation. So what I was told is to go into the person's super consciousness and connect it to the rishi level of the source self. Now, the source self, or what most people call the soul, there's 4 different levels. There's source self, over source self, avatar source self, and the rishi source self. And these are all in the aura charts, okay? Again, I always say source self, and just a stronger meaning for the word soul. So if you take the super consciousness, connect it to the rishi source self, and then accept all gifts from source, now you can start manifesting. And then you can take all that and connect it to the law of attraction.
Love it.
Wow.
That's something, isn't it? That's something, isn't it? That is something.
I'm doing that tonight.
Okay. You need to make sure you intend to accept all gifts from source, all manifestations from source, connect it all to the law of attraction, and kaboom, kabang, kabong. There you go. Okay, so that was huge. That I think that is a very big one. And to me, what that is a confirmation that we are going into these higher levels of vibration, so that manifestations can now start to come to fruition. Instead of like, nobody's watching out for me. Now you're going to see some symmetry. Now you're going to start to see some things happen here and that are going to show you that we are in this higher level. Okay, so some more little things. Here's not so little. Here's a big one. I want you to add this to your charts. It's called mind swap.
Ooh.
Mind swap. That's been coming up last couple of days again, big time. So this would be considered mind control. But if you use the words mind swap, now you're heading down a bigger path. And you can look within the charts, where is mind swap, and you might find it in a few different areas. Mind swap, false. And then the person's mind, real mind, true. Real mind, true. So that now they got their own thoughts. Okay, and another big one has always been the satanic continuum. Instead of satanic realm, satanic dimension, satanic kingdom, if you use the word satanic continuum, that contains a lot more energy and a lot more vibration than the other ones, and it actually works. Okay, so now, I don't know about you guys, but I find a lot of witchcraft. Hi, Deanna. I find a lot. You're late.
Sorry.
Okay, I love you anyways. What I find within a lot of people is they have witchcraft spells. Voodoo, witchcraft, black magic, all these types of spells. But in order to really remove them, you have to remove this person from being spellbound. So if you say within this person's source self, causal grids, spellbound, false, it takes the cover off the spells. And now here's the spells, and you're like, oh, he's going to get me, he's going to get me, oh, I better run. So when you remove spellbound, that opens up the door to get in and lift the spells. Very important with that. Okay? So mind swap, spellbound, the 7G will look for it. It's huge because, of course, we're all being distracted by the 5G that everybody talks about on the internet. 5G this, 5G that, chemtrail this, chemtrail that. Start looking behind all of that. Okay, get past the distraction, and then you can see all those things coming forward. What else have I got? So I talked about the vax, the 7G viruses, spellbound, satanic continuum, mind swap. Any questions about the Rishi and superconscious mind?
Not from here. Anybody?
I think I'm just going to have to listen to it again and write the steps down.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going to put this on YouTube, and I'll make sure everybody gets a link to it. Listen to it a few times. If you have questions, please email me. Please ask me questions. That's why you pay the money, okay?
Hey, Chris, I have a comment. Most of you probably saw in the news the last few days that the state of Washington released information showing how they are doing mind control. It was an accident. Somebody asked for information and they released it.
Yes, the electromagnetic mind control, yes.
Yes, so the mind control and mind swap is going to be very, very important for us. And I also posted a video as you were talking here on the side. I saw it this afternoon. It's a woman who spoke at a convention in Portland, and I didn't go see her. I didn't know she was there, or I would have been on the front row. But she talks about how, like you just said, all the chemtrails and the 5G and all that, that's not what's important. It's everything behind that. And she explains a lot of what's behind that. And I think it would be good for all of us to see, because it's something that we are going to be facing as we do these clearings.
Okay, can you post that on group box too?
I don't know if I can.
I know, group box is a real cluster, yeah.
I know Ty can. Ty, did you see the link that I put up?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'll put it up one more time, and then maybe you can copy that over to group box, please.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
You're awesome.
Okay, I'm going to copy that link too. I know where it is, and I'll send it out as an email link.
Thank you.
If I don't do it, it's because I forgot. Okay. What else do we need to know? Anybody else have any questions? Any questions at all? Come on, you guys don't know everything. Okay. Who's feeling this energy? Come on, who's feeling it? Tell me what's happening.
Oh yeah.
Ty, did you see these yet?
Huh?
You saw these, eh? The new ones?
Okay, good.
Beautiful.
It's very strong energy.
Yeah, they for me, I really don't feel a lot, because if I did, I would be on my butt in 2 sessions. So I need to do 8 sessions a day, if not more.
Hey, Chris, I had a question about, like, the strongest energetic feeling I got from, like, through a video was when you mentioned the SWEF.
Okay.
And
hold on.
Okay.
So I'm over at my radionic device today in my other room, my shipping room, and I'm looking for a code in my little vials, and I see Flame of the SWEF. I go, Flame of the SWEF? I haven't seen that for a long time, and here you are mentioning SWEF. How weird is that?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not that sensitive to energy yet, but the couple of times you mentioned that and you cleared people through videos, that was the absolute strongest. I mean, it was like a wave on the front side of my body that I'd never ever felt with, and not even with like hands-on healing.
Okay. Now, if you go into the charts that say heal with, I'm sure Flame of the SWEF is in there. There is SWEF, Bull SWEF. And wet Flame is in there. I hardly use these charts. Violet Bull. Now, the word bull has to do with anything of a Catholic religion. Okay, the word bull is a Vatican word. Okay, the word bull is Vatican. Good one, you, Christine. Good one. Yeah, Flame of the SWEF is in there on page number 2. So the heal with charts. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there that doesn't even pertain to anything. It's just stuff I threw in there. It's like, well, let's see what goes on. Yeah, I looked at it and I go, oh, Flame of the SWEF. I remember that one. I was using the Violet Flame a lot. Flame of the SWEF, Bull SWEF. One of the latest ones is Flame of Source.
Oh.
Flame of Source has been coming up.
I like that one.
That resonates, doesn't it? Everything has its time. Everything has its point in time and space where to use it. So all of a sudden things fall off and new things come in because we're ascending into higher areas of consciousness. So now we need new energies. We need new things going on. But for some people, they're still lagging way back in the old times where you might need to use those energies. So the heal with charts may come in very handy to find those energies, okay?
And remember when we talk about the bull was Enlil, and he's the bad brother. So that bad energy from Enlil is coming in. Enlil is known as the bull. So anytime you see anything about the bull, that has to do with Enlil, and we know what he's like.
Enki and Enlil.
So that's interesting, because do you guys know Lisa M. Harrison?
Sounds familiar.
She has a YouTube channel. She's been doing a lot of interviews, but she's also very intuitive. And I don't know, I think she channels or she's been contacted or something. So a few weeks ago, she posted that she got information that Enlil and Enki have basically left the building because they were given an ultimatum, either to reform or to leave. And leaving meant kind of like an annihilation because they didn't want to, kind of repent, or I don't know what the word is. But I asked people in a couple of groups, can they verify if Enlil and Enki actually are gone? And no one really responded. So I guess that's a good question for you guys.
Now, Wayne, the tool maker. Okay, Wayne he makes all these tools. He's an incredible artist. Okay, these is all works of art. Okay, he does all the soldering, does all the plating himself, but his job is to run energy into the earth grids. He's the primary of 12 people who do actually run energy into the earth grids, the ley lines, to clear them out. And what he does is whatever, how many times he's told, he goes into his bathtub with water and he runs current, and it almost kills him. The guy's 78 pounds soaking wet, little guy, but he runs all this incredible energy. And he did talk to me once about Enki and Enlil, and they were told, bye-bye, get out of here. And that's the whole concept of Nibiru, all that stuff is gone. Doesn't exist anymore.
Wow. So you're confirming that, Chris, then?
Yeah. I have it in my charts. Never comes up. Never comes up.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah. So a lot of the things, when you're watching the internet, look at the dates that you're watching these videos, because if they're 5 years ago, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
There's been so many clearings that have happened that things aren't just, they're not there. And please, nobody listen to Stephen Greer, okay?
Oh, no. I mean.
Distraction.
No. He's so deep into his own ego. And please don't listen to Steve. I watched him. It's like, I'm going to watch this guy. You know, I've kind of watched bits and pieces. He's got some interesting things to say, but the guy's he's a bigger goofball than I am. And he says nothing about the reptilians. He says, oh, all the ET are good. Invite them in. Go out and call them and invite them in. I'm like, dude, stop it.
Yeah, I've worked on some people because of that.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's got all these meditations. He's got a lot of different things that he does, and it just does not make any sense whatsoever what he's talking about. I listened to some interviews that somebody did. It was Michael Vargas. I think I did an interview with him. And he does this interview with a lady, the reptilian housewife. She's a hybrid reptilian. Oh, we're all good. We're not here to cause any problems. I'm like, where's the gun? Let me shoot you. You're not what are you talking about? You're reptilian. Now, having said that, most people who are having a lot of problems in their life, they are hybrids. These people are having multiple health problems going on. They got a brain aneurysm, they got a colon problem, they got gout, they've got digestive issues. These people are the people who are real hybrids, and the gears aren't meshing with the cogs. So now you got to go into the cells of their body, into the nucleus and the mitochondria, and change the structure from reptilian to human. That just came out. That's important. Okay, so if you're dealing with people who have lots of things going on, start changing, transmuting reptilian within their body to human. Okay, here's the big one. I almost forgot about it. Okay, so if you go on the internet and you look up numerology, 369 or anything numerology, you'll get a lot of the exact same videos from different people explaining that the only numbers in the universe are 1 to 9, and that through numerology, if you take, let's say, the number 46, 4 plus 6 equals 10, 1 plus 0 is 1, so there's a 1. So now, Nikola Tesla said, if you understand the numbers 3, 6, 9, you understand the universe. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, does anybody know what the number 9 represents?
That's a complex issue, but completion, perfection, and it's also selfish, depending on which system.
Okay, let's dumb it down a little bit. Number 9 is reptilian. Number 6 is human.
Ooh.
Find within the person number 9 false, number 6 true. If somebody has a very strong reptilian within them, you got to move out number 9 and bring in number 6. I almost forgot that. That's, oh boy, man, that was a big one.
That's good.
Yeah.
What's number 3, Chris?
What's that?
What's number 3?
I don't know. When we're ready for it, it'll come.
It'll come. Okay.
You know what? If you're not ready for it and you ask the question, you might get an answer that's misleading. Okay, so I wait for it to come to me. So what I did is I researched 369. I talked with Ty a little bit about it, and I just put it on a piece of paper and put it beside my desk, okay, and leave it there. When I got this tool, this Vesica Pisces, Wayne says, I need to send you this. I'm like, okay, send it to me. He sent it to me. He charged me for it, of course. It sat for a year next to me, and I kept on looking at it. What are you? What do you want me to do with you? All of a sudden, one day, oh, we need to use this. Okay? Hold on. So here is the chestahedron. Okay? Interesting tool now, isn't it? All of a sudden, one day, oh, we need to put this aside and use this. We needed this to bring in the divine feminine. We needed something. This does not have math within it. This is 369. Okay? Nothing touches it. So we needed something that nobody else out there knew anything about to bring in that energy. All of a sudden, oh, I don't need this anymore. Now we're back to this. Okay? So the concept of 369, we need to know about 6 and 9. When 3 comes in, we'll know it. That's how it works.
Yep.
You can't force the issue. You can put the focus out there. When it comes into you, that's when you know it's time. Okay? There needs to be certain alignments that happen, certain ascension points that happen, certain clearings within the universe that happens in order to get the answers to those questions. So what is 3? We'll find out.
So Chris, you just described how to tap into the inner true divine source. That's how you do it.
There we go.
Very good.
Anybody, anything else?
I think Dijana has a question on the chat about the differences between the Vesica Pisces and the triangle as far as healing.
Okay, so the
triple pyramid in the Vesica Pisces.
Okay, the Vesica Pisces and the triple pyramid. Now, if you notice the triple pyramid, I do sell it with a sun ring in it. Okay,
this is his conference, but I think I'm a little late.
Who's this, Deanna? Who's there? Anyways, so the Vesica Pisces represents the divine feminine. Okay, this is the woman's vagina right here. Okay, this is the divine feminine. If you look on the internet at Vesica Pisces, you'll see pictures of women genitalia. This is divine feminine. This is where we are right now. For some people, they need to start with that triple pyramid. You got to crawl before you can walk. You need to understand energy at certain levels before you can go up in different levels. So for most people, they need to start with that triple pyramid. If you want to get into those very high levels of consciousness, that's when you step into the Vesica Pisces. So you're going to be working in one area first and then moving up. That's when you move up to tools. Same thing with the sun rings. The different types of sun rings will bring you into different levels. Let's call it different rooms. If you're ready to graduate to that room into there to see what's there, that's when you start using that tool. So it doesn't mean that the triple pyramid isn't valid. It's very valid. It has a lot of energy in it. It's got a lot of possibilities. But for some things, you need to get to that higher level, and this is where it takes you, okay? Does that make sense?
Yep.
And also the pyramid balances out the female energy. Like for instance, I have a lot of female energy. I like having the pyramid that balances me out.
The triple pyramid is going to be a bit more of a masculine energy, okay? Now within us, we have two sides, feminine and masculine. And if you have a lot of people with say, all my problems are on the right side of my body, you know you have to work in that masculine body, that right side of their body. So that's where you may need to use the triple pyramid. If you need to work within the feminine, that's where if you really want to dumb it down and where do I use these tools? For me, I do everything with this, absolutely everything with it. It's got a sun ring on it. It's got a crystal in it. And ultimately, everything is going to be intent. But for some people, you might want to use this tool for that, that tool for this. That's when you start to dowse to see what tool you want to use. Sometimes I am told to use a sun ring. Sometimes I am told to use a neutralization ring for different things. But that's if you're a mechanic, you've got a big toolbox, and you got all these different wrenches in there, but you also got an adjustable wrench that'll do everything. Why not use the adjustable wrench and just adjust it a bit and use it for every nut that you have? Or you can be very specific. Oh, I want to use this tool for that. So you can be very specific, or you can use something that's going to encompass everything. It's all about intent. What intent do you put into that tool? How do you feel energetically about using this tool compared to the triple pyramid? How do you feel about, oh, using the sun ring instead? Whatever your gut tells you to do, just use it, because ultimately the intent you put into that tool is going to do the job.
So, Chris, hypothetically speaking, though, say you didn't have any tools, you could still do everything just by intent and no tools, right?
Yes and no. Okay. What I like to show people as a demonstration about how you can use your mind to create something is I will tell them to stand with their feet shoulder width, and I will intend a neutralization ring is between their feet, and they will all of a sudden feel the energy. Okay? It works. But if you really want to get to those deeper levels, if you use a tool, it gets to levels 5, 6, and 7, whereas using your mind and intent may only go to levels 1, 2, and 3. So if you use the tool, it is going to get to those deeper levels. Wayne uses the tools all the time. Him and I both. It's like, we could just intend it. He says, yes, but if you intend it, it's not going to get to those deeper levels where you need to be. The sun ring gets to level 9. The neutralization ring gets to level 7. You have to get to those levels to get everything out. So there's no vestiges left for stuff to grab back onto. So yes, you can use your intent and use your hands as long as they get to those levels.
Okay.
Can I add something to that?
Please.
Also, the tools help you sort of protect you from taking so many energies. So you could do more sessions when you have tools. That's the divine purpose of the tools for me.
So what Nora's saying is that these things take the brunt. Instead of you absorbing the energy, these things take it and send it wherever you want. I'm doing 9 hours a day, 5 days a week. When I'm done, I go play with my kids. Okay? A lot of people might only be able to do 4 hours or further won't. You use these and they will absorb the impact. Okay? They will take it and send it out. Instead of going to you, it goes to the tool. And good one, Nora. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Barbara just showed up. Barbara, I'm going to call you later.
Yes, thank you.
Judith is a newbie also. Judith, sorry, I'm sorry you're late, but we basically covered everything. I'm going to be posting this video onto YouTube and sending it out to everyone so everybody can see it. We've got about 65 people now who have bought into True Quantum Healing. 65. We just brought somebody on in Slovakia. His name is Joseph. Barbara just bought. Judith just bought. Christine. One day I'm sitting here, all of a sudden 3 orders come in. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. People are realizing it and noticing that this is something that they need and something that's going to work for them. So all you people who just bought in, I appreciate it. And the only people who are going to benefit is you, the community, and the people that you're working on, okay? You guys are going to do fantastic with it.
Chris, I have a quick question.
Please.
How can we help Wayne with the planetary grids?
Please.
Or how can we help, basically?
Please don't. He always asks, leave me to my job. Okay? Too many cooks. In his case, there are 12 people who are doing helping him out on a grid network. And I've asked this. I said, would you like my group to do? She says, no, because it could disturb things. It could shake things up a little bit.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got many people ask about that, and I'm like, you need my help? He says, please no, please no.
What can we do to make the vibration of the planet higher?
Okay, here's what I tell everyone.
Do a clearing.
Work on yourself. Okay, when you
Oh
work,
dear.
when you work
One soul at a time.
the energy ripples out. Okay, so the more clearing you do for yourself, the energy is going to ripple out, and it's going to affect people around you. That's going to clear them, and then it's going to clear more people around them. So ultimately, I mean, I did an interview with Lynn McTaggart, who did this scientific study on taking the 8 people, the power of 8, and making intent to certain areas. And they got scientific results. But ultimately, if you really want to make a difference, work on yourself. The clearer you are, the clearer people around you are going to be, the clearer you can help people to be, okay? The clearer you are, the better clearings you can do for people. That is going to ripple effect. That's going to cascade.
Hey, Chris, sometimes some of our clients are high in energy as well, and just clearing them out as well. Like one of my clients, she said she could, feel the energies moving elsewhere. It's like we're clearing out the earth. Mm-hmm. So just clients that are high in energy.
Yes, that may be, let's call that collateral, where you clear somebody, and if that person is connected to somewhere and an energy has to be cleared and it's collateral, then that's okay. That needs to be done. Okay, but to make the intent to help Wayne with clearing, he requests to stay out of it. Let him do his job. Anybody else?
You could always ask the Earth what needs to be, what you could do for it today.
Ask the Earth.
Treat it like a client. Do a couple clearings.
Ask the core of the Earth. The different things.
Exactly.
Very helpful.
But ultimately, Earth clearing takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
A lot of energy. It's a big thing.
It's an
So
advance.
I think that ultimately, if something comes up in your dowsing that you need to work on an area of the planet or the universe through this person, do that. Just like with the client who was connected everybody to the satanic continuum. When I change that polarity, that's when it helps. So if it comes up to do that clearing, then yes, you may want to do it.
We're putting a group together online where people can work together, and the more we have, of course, the higher the consciousness is going to be. It's called myhigherguide.com, okay. And it will be a group of people that will be sending out intentions to each other and to the earth and to anybody that's wanting them, or even some of those people that are not wanting them. I think we're going to be sending out energies to. So you might want to check that out as well.
Okay, my one suggestion that hits me right away is make sure you intend that you're a grid. Make sure the intent that everyone is part of the grid of healing. Okay, that way it takes that energy and it really raises it up. It multiplies it exponentially. If you take one person is 1, 2 people is 4, 4 people is 8. Law of doubling. Okay.
Sue, maybe you could create a firmament around it too.
Not a bad idea. Never a bad thing there.
Hey, Chris, I see a question from Suki in the chat. She wants to know, when working on someone who always brings in dark Catholic entities over and over, and it's interfering with true quantum healing. So she's just looking for some suggestions from you.
Okay. Is there some time to address the Catholic entity? Yeah. The Ars Notoria, Lesser Key of Solomon are very big. The Ars Notoria 12th century spell book does exist in the Vatican Library. Okay, now something had come up.
Maybe Unum Sanctum?
That was a good one, but something else. Vatican spells, what was it? Vatican something. Vatican something. Vatican curses. No. Where is it? Give me a second. My charts look like somebody's chicken scratch. Everything is all over. Okay. Dark ether. No. Vatican what? I still haven't got any hits on black goo yet. Maybe the odd one here and there. Nothing big on black goo. Well, what was it? No, can't find it. It was something to do with Vatican spells, Vatican something. You may just want to clear the person out. Opening portals to dark angels. I would suggest to look into the satanic continuum for that, for connections to the satanic continuum. That's probably the best way to go. Nothing's hitting me hard on that one, but satanic continuum seems to be the source of anything of a dark energy. Okay, if anybody else doesn't have anything, I need to a few sessions on somebody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks.
Don't thank me. Thank you for being here, everybody. It's an honor for me to have you listening and learning. And true quantum healing is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Chris, and enjoy your massage.
Love you all.
Love you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, Chris.
Bye-bye.
We're ending
Bye, guys.
the meeting now.